Now time for your queries, and we're very thankful that we're getting like a bunch of queries. And the first query of your query is that with markets at a fresh high, can one still look at investing in the market? Should one wait for a correction to fundamentally enter sound companies? And if yes, which stocks and themes should one like? Now that's a very loaded question. With a fresh high, should you enter the market? Well, that depends on your time frame. If your time frame is 3 to 6 months, well, then you have to fasten your seatbelts for volatility, because 3 to 6 months market would be difficult to call given that there is an election cycle. If your time frame is 1 to 3 years, you should expect double-digit returns from here in large cap stocks, because the value of the market right now in terms of the P multiple is cheap. Your 5-year plus return, by the time a cycle would have played out itself, a lot of small cap stocks and mid cap stocks would have also gone through time-wise correction, and a new cycle would have started. So 3 to 5 year, if you have a genuine time frame, I think it's a good idea to look at stocks. Just to give you a very neat summary of what I've learned over the years is 90% of Indians, when they are in stock markets, their time frame is less than 1 year. 90% of Indians have time frame for less than 1 year. 5% of Indians, and this is data what we get from brokerages, have time frame of 1 to 3 years. But the real money is always made if you are in that category which thinks 5-year plus, and could really be the minority category, because that's the category which believes in buy and hold, and that's how money is being made. Second part of the question, wait for the correction to buy fundamentally strong companies. Well, that depends on your time frame. And if one has to invest, which are the stock and themes to look at? Now that loaded question, I've given my sense. Now let's go to Sanjiv. Sanjiv, from Abhishek, first part of the question, when markets at a fresh high, should one enter? Part one of the question.
So, good afternoon, Nikunj. Like you said, it depends on your time horizon and your goal. Are you there for the short term, or are you looking for a longer term where you are buying a business and sitting over it over a period of time? If your duration is long term, then there is no such thing as timing the event or fresh high or fresh low. It is what your investment thesis is and how you want a return over a period of time. So, two things: chart out your goal and your horizon, how long you hold it. There is no such thing as new highs. There are some stocks which are not done anything. So it's a lot of opportunity, and that's why you have to be in the market to make money. So I still think there is time to go up, and there is a stock specific movement going around. But the index, which has done nothing, is now on the verge of a much higher move. And that is why we think large caps and select mid caps can do very, very well.
In equity markets, longer your time frame is, better it is in terms of getting good returns. If your time frame is more than 10 years, your chances of losing money in the stock market, I'm talking the index here, is actually less than 10%. Second part of the question, Sanjeev, which stocks or themes can one look at?
So the themes have been very clear. The PSUs have done well, the consumer stocks have done well, and pharma. But here I would like to say two stocks which I would personally think are very, very well endowed in their value, and they have a lot of created. First is Tata Communication. I think Tata Communication from the house of Tatas is the largest integrated player on the communication side, and their underground sea label cables and distribution is doing extremely well. So Tata Communication from the house of Tatas would be a very, very good pick around this 1660, 1670. I think that can be a 20% gainer over a period of time. And if your horizon is more, this stock can actually trend higher. The other pick would be, since we are seeing a lot of global trade and Baltic Freight Index doing well, Adani Port is a stock which has done nothing much, but the valuation and the performance of the company is extremely good. So at 820, 830, I think that becomes a very good index play and also a play on the macros globally. India, as you know, Adani is, I think, one of the best ports in the world. And given that freight is starting to move up, I think traffic and freight will add to its color. Its volumes have been the highest in the last 20 years. And I think Adani Port fits the bill perfectly for a 20% upside over the next 1 year.
Second question is from Smita Jain. What is a better idea, auto or auto ancillary?
Take both of them, buy the best of both of them, buy a Tata Motor and a Bosch if you have longer term horizon. If your horizon is shorter term, then Ashok Leland and Apollo Tyre fit the bill perfectly.
Exception of, let's say, Bosch and MRF, one would say that not too many auto ancillary companies have been great compounders. Very few auto ancillary companies have really created the kind of wealth what some of the auto companies have created. So some would argue and say that buying auto ancillary is always a challenge because then you're dependent on the OEMs. Sanjeev?
Well, yes and no, Nikunj, and as if the commodity cycle remains where it is, then the end users are doing extremely well. So I continue to think pedigree names at the time when the index is at highs, it is better to be with pedigree names. If you can digest the volatility, then take some of the ones which are, maybe have been lukewarm performers. But like we said, the cycle has turned. Tires and the OEM business, as far as Bosch goes, which is the complete play, are the best plays. So both of them go hand in hand. And like you said, I would say buy half of one and half of the other.
50-50 करने बोल रहे हैं भसीन साहब. Okay, 50-50 rule I guess always works. Keep it very simple. If you get 50% right, well, you made money. And if you get it wrong, well, you'll only lose 50%. So 50-50 rule, Sanjeev साहब, hedging हो गई है तो.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल थोड़ा सा spread your egg so that Nikunj, you don't miss out on both, and you have both of the baskets which have been the best performing in this particular year.
Fantastic, as always, to have you on ET Now. Well, that's the idea of the show, that we get you ideas, advice. We can, connect some dots for you. We would like to share our experience. I will share my personal anecdotes. This show is all about connecting the trends.